YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another Tasman's how-to on RimWorld. And this how-to is focusing on RimWorld save files. There's basically two save files in RimWorld, and I do not claim to be the complete expert on it, but I have looked at them and I've tried figuring out things. I love doing that kind of stuff. Hold on, I need a drink. Oh yeah, that's this stuff. All right. So anyway, there's two save files, and basically they cover uh, everything that's going on in the game. It's not like you have a main database that has the world info, and then your save file is just stuff going on for you, like your inventory, who you're fighting, who you're friends with. It's actually everything. So the first save file, best way I can show it is if we just pretend we're creating a new colony, contains your worlds. For example, this is Alristia, which is the world I created for my Tasplay, and also one that I just mess around on. So if we click on that, we'll see mod mismatch. We don't care about that. So basically what this is your RimWorld world, and the file is actually RWW is the extension. And what it has is basically all this in a nutshell. So it contains your different factions. There's the missile team, I believe, over here. Is that one of them? Yeah, we have this one, which is the Borbot Manatee. We have a blue one over here, which is the Singer's Tree. Down, I thought I was somewhere over here. I gotta see this map. Is that another one? No, that's just ocean. But anyway, it contains all the different factions and all the information in a nutshell of the entire world. Because the other file is the RWS file, which I'm assuming is RimWorld save, and this is your little chunk. When you come in here and you select, say, this little spot right here, this square is what your RWS file is. So if you actually have multiple games where you have multiple spots on this world, there will be an RWS file for each of these. All right, hopefully that's a little clear. That's just the RWW file, and we'll look at that in just a little bit. It's not nearly as big and complex as the RWS file, but I just wanted to clear that up. So we're going to go back. So now, why would you want to edit or modify your RWS file? Well, let's say, for example, I've created this world right here, save file 101-ish, and I say 101-ish. It's save files 101 in RimWorld, but I call it ish because I am not the expert at it. I'm only sharing what I've figured out and things that I think are actually valuable. So we're going to go ahead and load that and go into the game. And man, I got an itchy throat. I'm going to take another drink while we wait. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Okay, so here we are, brand new game. I haven't done anything, but let's say that you tame a new animal, turtle here, tortoise, and all of a sudden it becomes yours, and now its name is Tortoise 1. Who on earth is going to name their tortoise 1? Well, currently in the game, as you can see, there is nowhere. Well, actually, this ain't my pet. Let's use my Yorkie here, Mr. Smoopy, which I don't like either. Maybe we'll rename him to Schmoopy, after one of my favorite Seinfeld episodes. If you've seen it, you'll understand. It's pretty funny. But anyway, let's say with little Smoopy here, we want to rename him Schmoopy. Well, we can't do that. I mean, we can train him, right? We can do that. We can look at his needs. We can look at his health. We can even go into his character. But unlike with colonists, where you can change their middle name, so to speak, or their nickname, you can't even do that with a pet. But you might want to. Maybe you really don't want Smoopy or Tortoise 1. So what you want to do is go into the save file. And as you can see here, same thing with characters. Maybe we don't want him to be Steve Thunder Raja. And all we can do in game is change his middle name. Maybe we want to change him to Mike or something like that. So what we can do is we can edit the save file. And let's see, I've got to figure out how I'm going to do this. I can't record everything. What we're going to do is kind of get a few objectives that we want to do. And then we'll bounce out to the save file. So one thing we want to do is rename Smoopy, right? Let's say another thing, let's say kind of in the cheating aspect, let's say we want to change this to a stack of 10 so we get more food, right? So first thing we need to do is know where that is, and we need to understand how the save file works, because every single square, and I can't select non-item squares, but as we see, each of these are squares. Each of these have sections inside the save file, and the save files are simply XML, which is really nice because it's plain text. However, there are spots that contain like the fog of war where you can't see what's in here or what's in a building that is still, do we have any of those? We should. Like this, we can't see inside of there, and stuff like that. So we do have that stuff that's compressed. Where were we? Where are we? Help. There we are. But let's say we want to change some things. So we're going to focus maybe on little Smoopy here and this package survival meal. Let's turn this into, say, 9. Or actually, no, let's do our medicine. Let's give us a little more medicine. Let's change this to 23. So, for example, we have medicine here. Now, we don't know which medicine this is, so we could go into the save file and not know exactly what it is. So one thing you need to do in order to change specific things like that, Smoopy's easy because there's only one Smoopy on the map, but there's more than one medicine. So one thing we can do is turn on the debug mode. Now, if you don't know about this, you can use for cheating for sure, but it's actually designed for testing the features of the game. So I would recommend not using it except for this. But here's how you turn it on if you don't know. You go into game options and you simply check debug mode. There you go, it's on. That gives you this little thing up here. If we click on the little magnifying glass, we can see here wherever our mouse is. Now we can actually see each of the little coordinates and we can get information about that. Let's see well, that's just our other options. So as you can see here, this gives us our coordinates. So let's say we want this one here, which is 135, 0, 129. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to write down on a piece of paper real quick, 135, a comma, a space, a 0, a comma, a space, and 129. And this is our meds. And we want to make it to, let's say, 23. All right, so that's one thing. The other thing we want to do, I'm just writing this so we know exactly what we want to do in the save file. Let's say we also want to name Smoopy, Smoopy, 2 equals Schmoopy, Shmoopy. So simple little change there. So we're gonna go ahead and change those. Let's see, is there anything else? Maybe we can look at our well, actually, let's do this. Let's take a look at Thunder here, because I did notice he is really not Thunder, Villigus here. No, who was it? Oh, it was him, Johns. Okay, so Johns is really good at shooting, has a passion for it, small passion. He's 11 shooting, but as this game, this is one thing about the game I think is a little hooky, is it seems like if you hit a certain age, you're almost guaranteed to have cataracts, which affect your vision. So as you can see, he's a great shooter, but his efficiency is only 30, which is going to slow him down because he can't see very well. Also, a frail back and all this stuff. These things can kind of be irritating. When I start a colony, I'm assuming he was in crypto sleep, and so he should be okay. I just find cataracts irritating personally. So we're going to take away his cataracts. So who is this? This is John's. And we're actually going to look at his whole... He's an alcoholic. That's great. So John's... Holy crap. Of course, I had to fix someone with a hard name. So J-O-H... Joe's, actually. I said John's. And it's Barrowlocht. Because we're at a huge disadvantage with him. I mean, when we were in the character creation, he looked great, you know. Ooh, 11 shooting, but he is 65. So that always makes, I don't know if I want him. But 11 shooting was really good. I didn't even choose him, tell you the truth, because I probably would have chosen him with all the things he doesn't do. But let's go ahead and say John's, Joe's, I guess. And we have his name now too. So those are three things we want to fix. We want to remove his cataracts. We want to increase this med kit to 23. And we want to rename our dog to Schmoopy, just to kind of show you what you can do in the thing. And we're going to go ahead. So the first thing, now that we have the information, we have the location of that, we have the name of that, we have the name of him. We're going to go ahead and exit our actual game, because if we're editing the save file, it's not going to take effect until we load it. So we don't want to have the game, the actual world running while we do that. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the game running in the background here, but I need to jump into my other recorder for recording my text editor and stuff. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, we are back. And so the save game files are not where you actually install the game, which is kind of good because sometimes you might delete or move the game and remember to back up all your stuff. So the save files are actually located in your profile. And the easiest way to get to them, if you go to your profile, you can go to App Data and the Localo, and then Ludian Studios, I think it's Ludian, then RimWorld. Or we could just use the environmental or system variable percent app data, and then another percent and a backslash, and this will take us actually into the roaming profile, which is right app data localo. Oh, right there, you can barely see it. But that takes us into roaming. We actually want to go out one directory, so we just do a ... which tells it to go up one directory. So now you'll see we actually have the local, the roaming, and the local low. So we were actually in the roaming because it had the Minecraft, but we wanted to be in local low. So we go into local low, we have Ludian Studios, and then RimWorld. Now the worlds are actually saved right here, and as you can see, this is the name of the world that I was showing. And if we go into that file, once again, I said it's just plain XML. If you understand XML, that's awesome. It contains information about the game version, the mods that were used when the world was created, the name of the world, the size, the seed. This is the seed I used, Tasman. And then it has the different factions that are on it, where they're located. Spacer 1000 1000 is generally off the map because they're really not on the map, they're in space. Then you have Spacer Hostile, you have the Outlanders, you have some nice things about this. You have like the Outlanders, they're an Outlander, I mean. There's Singer's Tree is the faction. It tells you who they're hostile against. For example, if we come on up here, where is that one? Spacer. So you can see Goodwill is -100. They're hostile, true. You can see that these guys are hostile to everyone. Spacer hostile, obviously. Singer's Tree, for example, um, with the Spacer faction. And it actually, that's the other thing I want to mention, is when it creates the different factions, even though they're called Spacer, it gives this random key to attach to it. That way, if I have two factions called Spacer, they can still be unique because it assigns this. So, as you notice, this is Spacer, just like this one down here is also Spacer, but they're considered different because this Spacer will be assigned this to the end of that. So if we look at this number right here, we'll see it's the same number that this spacer is associated with. So it ends in 496, and you can see that this is that one. So that's so you can see how this spacer is against all these different ones. So we have how they are against spacer here. Their goodwill is -100, true. Singer's Tree, they are not hostile against. They, in fact, are completely neutral. They don't have anything. Goodwill against the missile team. No one likes the missile team. I mean, come on. These guys, they are not hostile against, but they are -17, so on and so forth. But anyway, this is all the information, the locations of the different factions and stuff. And then, of course, there's also you. And then there's also in here, for example, we have the Singer's Tree. It does have some very basic information. Here's the leader. His name is Fedden. His nickname's Fedden, and his last name is Kand, which is kind of weird. Tells you a little bit about him, just some of the information about him, what he wears, all that fun stuff. And you'll find this similar stuff in the actual save file for our world. Tells you here he has some silver. He has 49 silver on him that he's carrying around, and so on and so forth. So anyway, that's the world file. This just kind of tells what the world, where people are in the world and stuff. And as you can see, it's a pretty big file, but it's nowhere near as big as the save file, the RWS file. See, this is only 1,689 lines. So we're going to go ahead and close that. So that is where the world save file is. Now let's come here. And if we go up under saves, kind of tricky to find, right? We have our other saves. And basically each save, it's not an incremental save that this one is the incremental of that, you know. It's actually a complete thing. As you can see, each of these grow a little bit in size because things have happened. You built walls and fun stuff like that. So we're going to look at our save file 101-ish RWS and kind of get a feel for it. So let's see. The first thing we're going to do our three things. Then we're going to come back in here and look more into the actual save file. So that way, if you're not interested in more in-depth stuff, we can actually, you can close out the video or whatever, or you can leave it running and learn more details about the save file that I found out. So as you can see here, it starts off, we have the world, all the world info. And then we have all the factions again, and it's basically the same thing. We have our number that will be appended to that to give it a custom thing. We are actually colony, I believe we're this colony, the last one generally. And we'll find out that that's the number assigned to it. But let's go ahead and start doing our stuff. So the first thing we wanted to do is increase that tiny stack of meds, right? So let's do that. So what we're going to do, and this is just Notepad++, and if you're wondering why it's all colored like this, I'm using the Vibrant Ink style. So you just come in here, choose Vibrant Ink. I really like the black background with that. And that will just color everything. And then if yours doesn't, if you're using the same thing, but for some reason it's not doing this, it should, you can go under language and tell it XML, and then it will format it XML wise. All right, so enough of that. We're not doing a tutorial on Notepad++. All right, so the first thing we wanted to do is go and find those meds. So let's go ahead and we're going to type in 135 comma space 0 comma space and 129. We're going to go ahead and count. Oh, did I type something wrong? 135 0. Oh, I didn't do a comma. Comma space. Okay, and a count. Now you notice there's more than one, and this is because each tile, we have the meds, but underneath the meds we still have dirt, rubble, whatever else, mud. We have the actual thing that the map is made of. So it's keeping track of what's there. So if we do find next, as you can see here, underneath those meds, if we were to pick it up, there would be some grass. Its health is 85. Its growth rate, or its growth stage, I guess, is that. Here's its actual age and stuff like that. We don't want that one. So we're going to go ahead and find next. And here now we see we have our medicine. And there's its random number it appends to it so that it separates it from the others. Oh, look, and here's Yorkie right here. Yeah, we found Smoopy right away too. He wasn't very far away from it. So as you see here, we have the 135,029, health 100. This is the deterioration of those meds. We have the attack or stat count, which is 6, and we wanted to change that to 23, correct? And say 23. You'll also notice here that it's set to forbidden, which means no one can do it. If we set that to false, or maybe even if we just undo it, I'm not sure. Sometimes if the key's not there, it's considered the opposite. So if it's forbidden true, then it would say that. We could actually go unforbid it, save our game, and then come in here and see if it actually says forbidden false. I'm not going to do that. You can experiment with that for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead, since I made a change. Now, one thing I'd like to mention, it's always a good idea if you're messing with these things, make a backup. I'm not making a backup just because I really don't. This is just a test world. I'm just messing around. So I don't care if it gets corrupt, destroyed, or whatever. So always make a backup. But we just changed the stat count there. Now the next thing I would do, we can see Smoopy right there, but we're going to do it this way anyway. SMOOPY. Because you might have more than one sometimes. As the game progresses, like if Smoopy attacks something or something like that, there might be a memory or something like that that would have Smoopy, and you won't see the same thing. So if we do this, we do a count. There's only one Smoopy. We can come in here and we can change Smoopy to Schmoopy. All right, save that. And then the last thing we wanted to do was look up Joe's, and I might want to name him John's just because, or John, and get rid of the S just because I'm going to call him that. But oh well. So let's go look up, let's type in his last name. That seems pretty unique. BARROWLOCHT, if I spelled that right. Count. There will be 2 of those. So let's go look at the first one. So the first one here is not the one that we want. This one is part of, let me just see if I can find what it's part of real quick. This is just an informational. This is actually part of, if we scroll up, this is part of the tells or the history. And this AAA, this is part of our depth grid, which I think will probably come more into play with Alpha 13, which is going to actually have burrowing bugs and stuff like that. I don't know. Which kind of looks like this depth grid is completely null or something like that. Yeah, we're not going to mess with that. All right, so we found, let's just go find next, take it back there. So this is the memory, and this is just talking about, oh, that was, that's not, we wanted the other one first. Okay, so this is the memory, and as you can see here, this is kind of saying, oh, he landed in a pod. Here's the ID. This is the date, blah, blah, blah. This is the location. The weather was this way, blah, blah, blah. Kind of yada, yada, yada. more Seinfeld stuff. And then, of course, you see here names triple. Now, if I wanted to do it complete, I would go anywhere to change his name that says Jose, and I would change it to Johns or something like that. So this is just that memory. Here's the other guy, one of the other guys. This is Steve Raja. But if we go to the next occurrence of Mr. Barolach, I don't know if I said that right, we'll see that he's in this thing, and the class is a pawn. So he's a human. This is his position in the world. This is the faction. This is our faction. This is the random number I was telling you about that was associated with him. Here's his mind state. He doesn't have any jobs right now. We haven't told him to do anything. We haven't unforbidden everything. We don't have any stockpiles or anything like that. Let's keep going down here. We have melee threat, known weapon. He's not broken, or is he in a berserk state, which is good. Jobs, right now he's just wandering around. Current job, go to, he's just still wandering around. Let's see. Stance mobile. We want to come down here. Here's his pathing info. Carrier, he's not carrying. He's not carrying. He's not carrying. So here's his apparel. You can see he's got a basic shirt. This is the position. I don't know why there's a position on that. Maybe this just counts as nothing. It's for other things. Health, his shirt's in great health. It's a sin thread, which is pretty good. He's also got pants. If we go look at his story, this is his actual story. He was a wild child. He is an alcoholic trucker in his adulthood. Here's his skin color, his hair color, his crown type, head graphic. That's where his head graphic comes from, and his hair definition. So here we're getting into the area that I wanted to get into. So we have his moods. This is talking about his traits. His natural mood, -2. I believe this is, he's just got a constant -2 to his mood. Industrious, this probably will increase his crafting or something like that. His nerves means that he might break a little easier. I'm thinking. Here's his gun, information about the gun. Drafter. We want to get a little lower. I think we're getting there. Here's frail, bad. Okay, here we are. So here's the parts that maybe we don't want to have in here. So if we don't want him to have cataracts, then we should just be able to take out those two lines. And there's nothing that's actually counting how big these listed items are. So I'm assuming you can just delete those. This is kind of a test at the same time because I just barely thought, hey, that'd be a good idea. Let's go ahead and put that back. So now he should not have any cataracts. This will go away all by itself. That's his crypto sickness. The creation severity, how bad it is. So it's going down. So anyway, this is the information. He also carries filth, dirt wherever he goes. He's gonna make just a little bit of dirt. Everyone seems to do that. Here's his moods, thoughts. He has in his mood thing, he has the positive mood buff of being a new colonist, optimism and stuff like that. He doesn't have a lot. His food needs, his rest need, his joy needs, and then the values here for his tolerances, I believe. I don't know what those necessarily associate to. His need for beauty, comfort, space. And we're almost done with just this one guy. So as you can see, it's really big. And like I said, this is just a brand new file. It doesn't have a lot of stuff in it yet. But I mean, we're already at 327,276 on the line number. So these are really big. So let's keep going down. Then we have, after that, we have his skills. So let's say he was an 11 shooter, 11 melee. He was not social. There's nothing under social. His animals was 10, medicines was 3. Let's change his medicines just to be mean. Let's change it to 1 just to mess around. I'm going to write down that we changed that to 1. So we took away his cataracts. cataracts, and we minus meds to 1. So we're going to check these things in game to make sure that they work right. Let's see, we have his cooking level, which is non-existent. It's basically 0 XP since the last level. So this is the XP that they've gained up to getting the next level and stuff. So we have growing, mining. So all that stuff is in here. We have his priorities. This is the work list, and if you know exactly what they are, it's a lot easier. But here it's just simply a list, and the first value would go to firefighting, for example, doctor, patient, I don't remember. All that other stuff. So right now, if we go in the thing, he's a 3 on that, and everything's set to 3 because it's either the check or the not check. It's not set to manual priorities right now. Let's see, his current outfit, he's set to, he can wear anything. He's in the outfit thing, he's set to anything 1. And here's his timetable. These are when he sleeps. So these are the hours. I can't remember where it starts, but you know, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all of these 23. So you can see this is his timetable. His player, his med care is set to best, so he gets the best med care. He's allowed anywhere because it's null. I'm not sure what master is. Let's see, is this it? Okay, yeah, so that's it. So that's just good old Jose. Jose. So all that is info about Jose, and you can go through here and look at other things. When you have prisoners and stuff, you can actually, we don't have a prisoner in here. I'm gonna have to, let's load up, I think I have a prisoner named Trobo in my current Taz play. I just wanted to show you one little additional thing. Where is, it's right, Taztopia. So if we load up this Taztopia one real quick, and there, okay. Oh, it's thinking. Okay, there we go. So I think I was looking under Trebo. So if we go Trebo, first of all, if we count, there's 2, because there's probably 1 for the memory, which is this one. This is information about when they were captured. So as you can see, Takashi was the one that captured Trebo and put her in prison. So we don't care about that one. But if we go to the next one, this is all the same stuff. So we have Trebo, no first name, no last name. We could change that because we know how. Now, if you come to it and it's like this, you need to make it resemble this. So we'd need to put a bracket here, then the name, then a close bracket, and then the word first right there, if you know. So in order to give her a first name, we could say we'd need to do this to make it resemble the XML proper. This just means that it's an open and a close XML statement. This is an open XML, this is close XML. So then we'd need to close this by doing this and typing first. So that would properly close that, and then we could put a name in here and it would actually accept it. So we could say Lissa, for example. So Lissa Trebo, no last name. Let's go ahead and just undo all that. I don't want to mess with that right now. What I wanted to show you is, for example, when we get to these people, it has all the same stuff, what they look like. Here you go, their lore, their skin color, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. All the thoughts and memories. You can see that she had prisoner-friendly chats tons of times, and how much that impressed her. How long ago it was, that's because they deteriorate. She's had lots and lots and lots of chats. Recent memory, let's see, need food, rest, beauty. So we're getting real close. Okay, so right here is where you might want to change something if you want to cheat a little. So this tells you the host faction she's from, because she is a guest or a prisoner. She is a prisoner because that's set to food. She does get food, which is why that's set to true. Then interaction mode, this is where it would say friendly chat, release, execute. but we're attempting to recruit her, and the recruitment difficulty is 98. Now, in my Let's Play, we're having a heck of a time recruiting her. Every time it's just a 1% chance. When this is 99, it says it's a 0% chance. However, that just means it's less than one. It could be like 0.87% chance or something like that. So I did change this from 99 to 98, and we're seeing how it goes. You can see she also owns a bed. This bed, which is a standard bed with, once again, random number associated with it. And here's her info about how she is shooting, melee, all that fun stuff. So you can see it's kind of the same thing. The big difference is she's got this guest part, and she has a recruitment difficulty. Even guests have the recruitment difficulty. You just usually don't see it. All right, so anyway, that is kind of that. So let's go ahead. We will save this now. And we will go ahead and go back into the game and see if our changes stuck. So I will see you in the game in just a second. Okay, we're back in the game itself. We're going to go ahead and load our save file 101-ish and see if the changes we made all do what we expected them to do. And hopefully it doesn't crash. Hopefully we didn't change anything and leave out a comma or something like that. All right, so we wanted the meds here, 23. Our dog is now Shamoopy. And let's pause. And John's no longer has cataracts, so his sight is now okay. And his moving is, well, he's still got the bad back and frail. So I think his moving, wasn't it 30% before? So I think that might have went up. I'm not sure if the sight necessarily affects the moving. I would think that if you can't see where you're walking, that you might do a lot of tripping and stuff or something. I don't know. So let's see. There's that. So and we decreased his character. We made his medicine down to 1. I think we did that one wrong. Oh no, he was disabled in medicine, so it doesn't matter what that number was in the thing, because see, it's set to melee, shooting, research, cleaning, art, doctoring, disabled. So yeah, it doesn't matter what his medicine was set to in the thing, because it's actually disabled, which takes priority over our number. So there you go. I don't think I'm going to go in depth in the rest of the thing. If you guys want to see more, let me know, and maybe I'll make another video where we go into the RWS file more in depth and kind of look at all the different aspects of it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a thumbs up down below, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.